Today we will learn norma occipitalis and norma lateralis. First we will start with the norma occipitalis. The bones seen in norma occipitalis are the posterior part of parietal bones, the squamous part of the occipital bone and the mastoid part of temporal bone. Sutures seen in this norma are the posterior part of the sagittal suture, the lambdoid suture, here the occipitomastoid suture and the parietomastoid suture. The other features seen in this norma are some of the features you have already learned in the norma verticalis, which are the posterior part of the sagittal suture, the parietal foramina, the obelion and the lambdoid suture. Other features are, the most important feature here is the point, the external occipital protuberance, which marks the junction of the head and neck. The most prominent points of the external occipital protuberance is called inion. The superior knuckle lines are bony ridges passing vertically from the external occipital protuberance. They also mark the junction between head and neck. The highest knuckle lines are not always seen. They are 1 centimeter above the superior knuckle line and they are more curved than the superior knuckle line. Below superior knuckle line, there are inferior knuckle lines. They also pass laterally. Now we will see the attachments on these knuckle lines. The trapezius muscle is attached on the external occipital protuberance and the superior knuckle line. It is attached on the highest knuckle line whenever it is present. Then the occipital belly of occipitofrontalis muscle is also attached with the superior knuckle line. The occipital point is present just above the inion. The occipital point is farthest from the glabella. Then the mastoid foramen. The mastoid foramen is situated just near the occipitomastoid suture. Here it is. Here is the occipitomastoid foramen. The occipitomastoid foramen, it provides passage to the mastoid emissary vein and the meningeal branch of the occipital artery. The other features in this norma are, sometimes the vermion or Inca bone is found here. The vermion bone is different from the sutural bone. It is the non-fused part of the squamous part of temporal bone. During membranous ossification, that part has failed to fuse with the rest of the bone. Here, the lambda in fetal life, it provides as posterior fontanelle, which fuses at the age of 2 to 3 months. This is all about norma occipitalis. Now we will see norma lateralis. Bones seen in norma lateralis are the temporal bone, the greater wing of the sphenoid bone, the parietal bone, the frontal bone, the zygomatic bone, maxilla and nasal bone. The features in this norma are, first, the temporal lines. The superior temporal lines you have already learnt in norma verticalis. One more line, the inferior temporal line is also present here. The inferior temporal line is complete here, which goes downwards and anteriorly. Anteriorly it is continuous with the suprameatal crest and anteriorly it is continuous with the zygomatic arch. Now the other feature is the zygomatic arch or zygoma. Zygomatic arch is formed by the temporal process of the zygomatic bone and the zygomatic process of the temporal bone. Here you can see an oblique suture which is connecting these two bones. The zygomatic arch has a superior border and an inferior border. The anterior end of the superior border here is called the jugal point. The posterior root of the zygomatic arch, it is connected to the temporal bone by two roots, the anterior root here and the posterior root here. The lower margin of the anterior root of zygomatic arch, it presents a tubercle which is called the articular tubercle. Such tubercle is also present on the posterior aspect. Also, it is called the postglenoid tubercle. The anterior tubercle and posterior tubercle here, they bound This fossa called the articular fossa. This fossa articulates with the head of the mandible to form the temporomandibular joint.